Our next group will present on integrating practical applications of emotional intelligence skills in the emotional intelligence curriculum.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Alexandra Berman.
I'm Eleni Kuzer.
I'm Parvina Rahimova.
And I'm Ava Shiraldi.
And today we're going to be presenting on our master's project titled Emotional Intelligence Curriculum, Integrating Practical Applications of Emotional Intelligence to Increase Transferability of Skills During Fieldwork. So this is our abstract. So our study aimed to provide students with evidence-based practical tips through Thomas et al.'s Emotional Intelligence Curriculum, also known as the EIC, that will facilitate the transferability of emotional intelligence skills to fieldwork and practice. Two practical tip videos were created and shown to our participants, demonstrating two EIC concepts: establishing professional boundaries with clients and supervisors, and managing emotions in clinical situations. Based on data from our pre- and post-test surveys, after viewing practical tip videos, participants demonstrated an increased understanding of EI concepts and their transferability in clinical situations. Participants reported higher confidence in implementing professional boundaries, handling disagreements, and managing body language and facial expressions. Participants rated emotional management strategies such as box breathing and reframing the situation most beneficial and transferable. So we had three objectives. Our first one is to assess the efficacy of adding practical tip videos to the emotional intelligence curriculum. Two, okay, they all say one, but two, to develop pre- and post-test surveys that assess self-perceived EI after watching the practical tip videos, so not only what we think, but what the participants thought themselves. And number three, to test the hypothesis that students' ability to understand and transfer the learned EI skills would significantly increase after the EIC practical tip video exposure. So our literature review, we looked at the importance of EI in healthcare. EI training helps students better assess their skills, decrease burnout, and manage emotions for improved problem solving in clinical situations. Developing EI skills enables occupational therapy students to better connect and build successful relationships with clients and establish client-centered goals. Regarding the transferability of our practical tips, which was a large portion of this project, Andonian discovered that EI training improved OT students' communication, expression of clinical reasoning, documentation clarity, and effective personal relationships during fieldwork level 1 and level 2. Regarding transferability again, to understand EI skills before applying them to high-stress situations, Kaifas et al. Introduced mock interprofessional scenarios, and after each, they provided practical tips for applying the learned coping mechanisms, thereby simplifying EI skills for better understanding. Furthermore, Gribble et al. And Polonio Lopez et al. Found that implementing practical EI skills training increased OT students' self-perception, decision-making, and emotional awareness. So regarding our methods, our participants were you guys, thank you. So our participants were SUNY Downstate OT students who began in May of 2022, crazy, and are expected to graduate in December of 2024, participated in the curriculum and pre-post test survey. 28 students completed the pre-test survey and 22 students completed the post-test, so therefore we used a sample size of 22 participants for data analysis. Regarding our methods, scripts for practical tip videos were developed and recorded. Participants completed the pre- and post-test survey with open-ended and Likert scale-based questions in a level 1 field work course. Thank you, Dr. Brandt. Participants engaged in the EIC videos, followed by their supplemental practical tip videos and a discussion.
So for data collection, we used a pre-test and post-test survey that was then collected and analyzed. The practical tip videos were then edited to reflect the students' feedback. Pre- and post-test surveys were administered via Google Surveys, which was utilized to create quantitative analysis using pie graphs to assess students' emotional awareness before and after implementation. SPSS was used to calculate p-values to determine statistical significance. So where to access practical tip videos, you can search on the internet emotional intelligence at SUNY Downstate, and then in this section on the right, you can click on the video emotional management and the video friendly but not friends. So the results. Viewing practical tip videos caused a significant increase in participant understanding of these 3 EI-related areas. General EI knowledge and awareness. Participants portrayed a significant increase in understanding of EI concepts as student ratings increased from 46.4% to 63.6% with a p-value of 0.01. The amount of students that saw the value of practicing EI skills during fieldwork significantly increased from 78.6% to 90.9% with a p-value of 0.05. And lastly, 60.7% of participants agreed and 28.6% strongly agreed that a training curriculum involving practical videos and role play can enhance EI skills, significantly increasing. So for professional boundaries, implementing and maintaining boundaries, handling disagreements, and sharing personal information. For implementing and maintaining boundaries in the pretest, it was found that only 10.7% of participants felt very confident in implementing and maintaining boundaries in a professional setting, whereas for the post-test, this significantly increased to 50% with a p-value of 0.01. For handling disagreements, before engaging in the practical tip videos, 35.7% of participants felt comfortable handling disagreements and conflict in a professional setting, and 28.6% felt somewhat uncomfortable, and which significantly decreased to 36.4% to comfortable. And then 9.1% felt somewhat uncomfortable in the post-test with a p-value of 0.01. And sharing personal information in the pre-test, 42.9% of participants reported that rarely shared personal information, 42.9% sometimes shared, and 14.3% often shared. In the post-test, this significantly decreased to 45.5% of participants reported that they rarely shared personal information, 31.8% sometimes shared, and 9.1% often shared, and 9.1% very often shared, with a p-value of 0.01. So we did pre-test and post-test questions that reflected each other. The first one in the pre-test was, how confident are you in setting and maintaining boundaries with others in a professional setting? With a rating scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not confident and 5 being extremely confident. And in the post-survey, it was after watching the supplemental practical tip video, Friendly But Not Friends, how confident do you feel to successfully implement and maintain professional boundaries, and then same, not confident to very confident. And in the pretest, only 10.7% of participants felt very confident in implementing and maintaining boundaries in a professional setting, whereas in the post-test, this significantly increased to 50% with a p-value of 0.01.
So more results that were found: emotional management, body language awareness, expressing emotions, coping strategies such as journaling, reframing the situation, and box breathing. The amount of participants that were aware of facial expressions and body language during interactions after engaging in the practical tip video, this significantly increased from 46.4% to 77.3%, with p-value being 0.01. The amount of participants that felt comfortable doing emotions in professional settings increased from 7.1 to 40.9%, p-value being 0.01. In the pretest survey, 25% of participants reported it very likely that they would use coping strategies such as journaling, meditative breathing, and reframing the situation, significantly increasing to 50% in the post-test, p-value being 0.01. After engaging in the practical tip video, 36.3% of participants expressed that the box breathing technique was the most valuable, followed by 31.8% for reframing the situation, and then 18.2% for journaling. So these are our pre-test and post-test questions and results for coping strategies. The pre-test survey question, when overwhelmed, how likely are you to use coping strategies such as journaling, meditative breathing, and reframing the situation? Rate on scale of 1 to 5, being 1 unlikely and 5 being very likely. So 28 responses were there. And for post-test survey results, after watching the supplemental practical tip video, emotional management, when overwhelmed, how likely are you to use coping strategies such as journaling, meditative breathing, and reframing the situation, 1 being unlikely and 5 being very likely. So in the pre-test survey, 25% participants reported it very likely that they would use coping strategies such as journaling, meditative breathing, and reframing the situation, significantly increased to 50% in the post-test. After engaging in the practical tip video, 36.3% of participants expressed that the box breathing technique was the most valuable, followed by 31.8% for reframing the situation, and then 18.2% for journaling. So these are the results table. So we have run our pre-test and post-test results through SPSS, and we got this table. So this result shows that there was a significant correlation, p-value being 0.05. These are some of the limitations that we have faced. One being the constraint of time and resources, specifically sample size, poses a challenge. In order to determine stronger effectiveness of the practical tip videos, numerous cohorts would have to complete level 1 and level 2 fieldwork. Potential disparities in facilitators' experiences with specific scenarios affects the accuracy of scripts for experiences they may not have navigated. Because the facilitators are graduate students, they have had limited clinical experience. Therefore, some of the practical tips were taken from prior experiences, while others were based on prior students' feedback. With 28 participants completing the pre-survey and only 22 participants in the post-survey introduced potential biases that required considerations. A technical issue with the slow-speed box breathing technique video impacted the evaluation of the effectiveness of this strategy. Conclusion. We came up that this research significantly advances OT education by addressing practical emotional intelligence application and transferability of EI skills, paving the way for future investigations into optimizing educational strategies, enhancing practitioner preparedness, and promoting effective transferability of soft skills in healthcare settings. Despite the outlined limitations, these implications offer a roadmap of educators, researchers, and practitioners to continue advancing OT and fostering the development of emotionally intelligent, competent healthcare professionals.
Okay, so now that we finished our study, in terms of next steps, this research advances OT education by providing students with practical emotional intelligence tips that can be easily transferred into level 1 and level 2 fieldwork experiences. Our project emphasizes the importance of having transferable EI skills to enhance practitioner competency, confidence, to strengthen the client-centered care and practitioner-client relationships, while ensuring a smooth transition from academic setting to practice. This research offers a roadmap for educators and practitioners to optimize educational strategies to foster the development of emotionally intelligent, competent OTs. Future research will also aim to provide practical tips and applications for more EI concepts in the EIC, or emotional intelligence curriculum. So the impact of the curriculum is that it's currently being marketed and used nationwide by other programs, which we'll show on the next slide. Emotional intelligence skills are relevant to all healthcare disciplines, not just occupational therapy. It's a research curriculum that's going to be continued to be developed by future cohorts at SUNY Downstate. So here are some programs that are currently using the EIC or have expressed interest in using it. So as we see, there's some master's programs using it, OTDs, OTA programs, there's a PA program that is using it, and also even a high school, showing the necessity of these emotional intelligence skills and how important it is to have them. So we would like to thank Dr. Thomas for her guidance, encouragement, and continued support. Dr. Brown, thank you for letting us conduct our study during your fieldwork seminar. Sean Nurse for helping us upload our videos to the Downstate website, our peer supporters, and our entire cohort for participating and giving us great feedback to help grow this curriculum. Any questions? Thank you.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Thank you for presenting this information. I'm curious if you've had any feedback from all the sort of universities that may have used it, or even your own peers in terms of implementing those practical tips on level 1 fieldwork that you just completed. I'm curious if you heard anything, particularly in challenging or conflict situations.
Yes, so the reason we started this study by adding practical tips is from the feedback of prior cohorts and universities. Sorry, guys. They said while it was great, these concepts are a little abstract and hard for students to understand sometimes, so we brainstormed and we came to the conclusion that adding practical tips and making these concepts a little more concrete by giving specific tips would help break that down for a larger scope of learning abilities. So that's the feedback that we got from most universities.
Thank you.
Yes, Bethany?
As someone that participated in the study, when we were watching the videos during fieldwork seminars, it kind of came off like funny. We just didn't take it like super seriously, but I have to say during fieldwork, I actually learned a lot from your videos, as I just want to say thank you. And just to add on to Dr. Newer's question.
Thank you. We're happy to help.
Thank you.